What's up, guys? I'm back with another video for you guys today. So, I've been meaning to do this video for a long time now. It's what is like basically me talking about what I deal with daily while in the army, right? So, the military isn't perfect by no means, right? I've been in the military I'm approaching up to 7 years, right? You are going to deal with trials and tribulation. You are going to deal with people that you don't necessarily want to work with, and there are going to be times where you feel like you're being treated different from other people and all this other stuff, right? But like, truth be told, I just roll with the punches, man, because that's just how life is. You gotta roll with the punches. The good days, the bad days, all of it. But I'll say the hardest thing to deal with is you try not to lose. You try not to lose who you are as a person when it comes to being in the military, because some people, as time goes on, they climb the ladder and then they just change completely. Like they're not the people you used to know, and then you start to go like they really switched up. I've met a lot of people that I was cool with back then, and then they just switched up. So I won't lie, for the first time it caught me off guard. And then when we're out the uniform, right? And they wonder why I don't talk or hang with them anymore. And then I'm telling them straight up, you switched up. You switched up. You became a completely different person once you promoted and stuff like that. So like, what did you really expect? How did you really expect people to react? Like, really tell me, how did you expect people to react to you changing because you climbed the ladder? Because let's be fair, man, like you let that crap go to your head. And believe me, I wouldn't do this, but brother, you made it. You burnt bridges. You made enemies, right? You made enemies. So now you just screwed yourself, because no one's gonna respect you at the end of the day. Because to me, right, respect goes both ways, right? We all need to be treated. We all should treat each other like adults. But some of these guys go way too far, and then next thing you know, it gets personal. I had plenty of people do that to me. I stopped talking to them. I don't even bat an eye. Like, I'll just walk past them like they're not there. You know, I no. The many times I've made rank, I never thought of myself as better than anyone. I still treated people the same amount of respect when I was less of a rank, and I don't know. It's just like I just find it crazy that a person makes rank, and then you think you can do whatever you want after that. That's the crazy part about the whole thing. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, what the hell? You know? That's where my mind, like, that's what I'm thinking. When I first became E5, and then I had friends behind me who became E5 or started to become E5, I ain't gonna lie, I had to check them, because you're going too far. And he says, I don't get. They was like, I don't give a. They was like, I don't give a fuck. So I told them, keep. So here's the thing. So you're gonna let all that work, brother? Do you know how easy it is? How easy it is for people to go to IG about you? I'm telling you this, bro. You don't want that. You don't want people to go to IG about you. You don't want people to go to EO about you. It's not a game. It's not funny. You could lose that rank as fast as you got it. Honest, I was just telling the truth. And they was like, really, brother, brother, it takes them to say a certain, like, say something in a certain way that you did that could get you in trouble. I'm like, I'm not gonna lie. So, and then also the one thing people gotta understand, like everybody's experiences is different with who was above them and all this other stuff. Cause I've had leadership above me at one point, right? I've had leadership. I've had. Let me rephrase that better. I have had an NC one NCO above me at two of my duty stations. One of them we were going at 9 o'clock, and then by 10 o'clock, he leaves for the rest of the day. That went on for 6 months, right? And mind you, well, people don't also understand. We have to emotionally suppress ourselves on a daily basis. So when he's got in trouble because I kept doing my due diligence. I reported it up the chain because it wasn't right. I was a PFC at the time, and this was what was happening, right? So next thing you know, the same day he goes like, I didn't know my job was also the same day I got a Red Cross message that my cousin died of an overdose. So it wasn't my best moment, but I completely chewed him and cursed him out. I chewed and cursed him out. Everybody was there. First Sergeant XO, the commander, everybody was there. But again, it wasn't my best moment. But like the leadership knew I wasn't in the best emotional state. So the first sergeant kindly asked me to like leave, go back to my barracks room, cool off, basically. Right? Now, when I got to my second duty station, I met two other supply clerks before they got out. And, they gave me a heads up what I'm going to be dealing with. And I took it with a grain of salt, right? I took their shit under advisement. And I went through it. I went through it. And also, by the way, my NCO at the time was female. Right? I'm going to just make this abundantly clear. I'm not sexist with women being in the military. They have every right to join the military just like a man does, right? But that situation, man, no matter how much work I did, no matter how much I tried, it was like I kept getting this tension of like, I don't like you. I don't want you here in this office. And then on top of that, you act like you taught me, you didn't teach me squat. There is nothing that she could have taught me that I didn't already know of managing a supply room. I've done it before. But it was I had to hold my tongue despite me being degraded repeatedly. And the crazy part is there was nothing I could have possibly done in that given moment because she was a female, the female was first sergeant, and the commander was female. That's a triple threat off the dome. So like I kind of just again I rolled with the punches. I just moved past everything, and next thing you know, I end up getting moved into my own supply room, and then I later became E5 after that. And then it's just like you're going to meet people who think they know more than you, but they don't actually know what you know. And the crazy part is the reason why people don't want to go to IG or EO or go to behavior health and all this stuff is because when we do that, it's always retaliation every single time where we could possibly, like when you, so behavior health and all that stuff, that it's confidentiality. So basically, they're not supposed to tell the leadership or anything about it, right? But somehow, some way, I have seen more cases where that stuff gets leaked, right? That stuff gets leaked. And now you're getting hit with retaliation off the dome. And then also most stuff that people like talk, like try to report about this or that, it gets swept under the rug. So I guess you can say it's kind of hard for you to tell who actually cares and who doesn't. Because I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of two-faced people in the military. That's fact. That is fact. And I'm pretty sure anybody that's in the military now or who was in the military before can possibly agree with me on this, that there's a lot of stuff we deal with, and no matter how much we try to get help, it's either it gets swept under the rug or we possibly face getting chaptered out because they go like, we are unfit to be soldiers due to such and such and such, which could be absolute 100% bullshit, right? So I say the best thing I can do is just keep my head down, and I guess you could say kind of isolate myself, but still do the work, but isolate myself in a way to where it's like you kind of become non-existent. But doing that kind of puts you in a place mentally that you're alone constantly, and you just don't want to deal with anybody. You don't know who to trust. You don't know if people are trying to get at you or just target you for no apparent reason or whatever the case may be, right? So, and it's not just me who thinks this way. There's plenty of people who think this way, and they're just trying to get through it. That's why people aren't re-enlisting. Also, people aren't re-enlisting because they don't trust the system anymore. They think the system's against them, which it kind of is. Even I won't lie about it. In a sense, parts of the system's kind of against people, and the thing is, it's out of my control. There's nothing nobody can do. We just have to basically roll with the punches, no matter how much, no matter how bad it gets. Like, like to me, if you feel like you need to get out so you can actually feel like you can breathe, I'm not a person that's gonna say they're weak for leaving the army or any of that stuff. If you feel like you'll do a lot better outside the army, go for it. Do it. I mean, really do it. Like, but also, I'm also gonna say this as well. But if you don't have a plan put together, you might as well stay in until you have a fully functional plan planned out. You know what I mean? Like that's just me being honest about it. Like I feel like a lot of people get out, they don't have a plan. Most guys go back home and they're like smoking weed and stuff. You know what I mean? And it's like that's after all the work you've done, that's where you want to go. That's where you want to minimize your life like that. I don't think so. But people people who never been in the military and all that stuff don't understand what us military folk have to go through. And I'm gonna just be 100% honest, and that's just absolute fact, right? Me, I know I'm not gonna be in the army forever, but I just figured I'd do a video explaining like what we constantly go through mentally. Some like another thing I need to mention: half of us live off energy drinks and nicotine on a daily basis because one, energy drinks keep us awake because some of us have a lot of meetings to go to. Some of us use nicotine to handle stress. You know, it's not the best thing to do, but and anybody who says like the military doesn't have a problem, it actually really does. The like on how we go about handling stress, whether if it's with energy drinks, alcohol, nicotine, all this other stuff. A lot of people don't know because they just assume stuff. People just assume. Like you guys really don't know what a military man's going through unless you like really, really talk to them. So other than that, that's really about it. That's really all I have to say. This is just a video of me explaining what I've personally gone through, but what other military members are going through while serving in the military. So, but again, everybody's experience is different. Some people have good experiences, some people have bad. It just depends. But if you guys are new to the channel, please subscribe, like, comment, and I hope y'all have a very blessed day. Peace.